Good morning, class. Today we're going to look at lesson number 15, which is just finding uh, the price of an object that's on sale using mental math. So today's going to be kind of shorter video, as today, or yeah, Friday today is technically a non-instructional day, but I thought I'd just give you a small video and just a small problem to work on as well. That we'll be due on this Sunday. What we do next Thursday, so you have a bit more time to work on it. So last class we looked at finding the price of an object that's on sale or with taxes, but I thought today we just look at how to do this quickly in the store. So when you're finding prices using some mental math, a lot of time you gotta do some estimations. So let's say you have a jacket and its regularly priced is $112.99, but it's 40% off. You want to figure out, okay, how much am I going to have to pay for this? So we can just round that price down a little bit. We just say, okay, that's going to be around $110. And if I'm getting 40% off, we want to figure out how much we're going to pay. So instead of trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to get 40% off, so how much is 40%? And then I have to do the subtraction. We can do the subtraction first, which might be a bit easier to do in our head because it's just 40% take away 100. So it's like 40, or it's 100 take away 40. So it leaves us with 60%. So instead of doing a calculation that complicated subtraction, we can do a basic subtraction and then a calculation. So it kind of simplifies that subtraction step. So we're going to have to pay 60% of the price. So now we're going to multiply our price by a percent. I find decimals are hard to multiply by sometimes. So what I do is I'm just going to say this is going to be 110 times 6, and then let's move the decimal place 1 over to the left. So 110 times 6 is going to be 660. But then moving that decimal place 1 over, sorry, I said left. Let's say right. Or I said right, let's say left. So we're going to move it 1 over to the left. Actually, that's my bad. I'll correct that. So 1 over to the left, this is going to be $6 and $66. So essentially, we simplified the calculation by rounding down, and then we simplify it one more time by, instead of doing our multiplication and then division after, we do division first, so it simplifies the division step. And then we do our calculation of the decimal. We just kind of get rid of that 0 point, just say the price we have times 6, and then we just move it 1 over to the left, not the right, to the left. It's not going to be 6,000. That wouldn't make sense to pay way more. It would be $66. And if we calculate the actual price, which is going to be $112.99 times 0.6, it comes out to be $67.79. So we're off by $1.79, which is not much. When you go to pay, at least you have an idea of how much it's going to cost you, which is kind of the point of doing mental math. It's not to get the right answer, but to get close enough that it gives you an idea of what to expect when you go to pay. So I thought I'd do one more for you. This one's a bit more complicated. So if we have 5% off a game system, that's $354. So we can just round that down to $350. So we're just trying to estimate that price a bit simpler. And when we look at how much we pay, we gonna pay 95%. So this isn't as nice of a number, a percent to look at, because it's not just one number. Well, it's not just like 6 or 9. It's 95. So it's a bit trickier. So we can use the decimal trick with this. So we just get rid of like the 0.9, and we just say this is going to be 9.5. It's a bit trickier, but essentially what we're doing is we're just moving the decimal place 1 over to the right to the calculation, and then after we move the decimal place 1 over to the left. So we're just moving it back and forth, so the calculation is a bit easier. Another thing we can do is, instead of moving it 1 over to the left at the end, we can just move it 1 over to the left on our price to simplify it a little bit more. So because when we do multiplication, it doesn't matter what number you do the operation on. If you move the decimal place 1 over to the right on one, you can move it 1 over to the left on the other, you can get the same value. So we can actually say this is going to be $9.5 times 35. And sometimes it's a bit trickier, but here's where you can just take your calculator out and just do a basic calculation if you wanted to. Or you could try to do this one in your head by breaking it down, doing 9 times 30, then 9 times 5, and then half of 35. And you're going to get around $350. So you save about $20. So that'd be one way to do it. What you could also do, so in the first one I said let's do our subtraction first and multiplication after. We could actually do it the opposite way. So we could say, well, we want to look at 5%. We can take 5% away from 350. So if we were going to do that, we would just times our $350 by 5%. Where if we're going to do that, I'll just go down here and show you how to do that for now. So if we're going to do $350 times 5%, what we can do is we can just say, well, like formally, the 5% goes into being 0.05. So not 0.5, but 0.05, because it's only 5%, it's not 50%. So what we can say is we can, if we move the decimal place 1 over to the right to start, we're going to get 350 times 0.5. So that's pretty much just taking half of 350, which is going to be 175. And then we can move the decimal place 1 over to the left to balance out the move we did initially. So we're going 1 over to the right initially, now we're going back 1 over to the left, and that's going to be $17.50. So that's about as much you save. So sometimes if it's a small percent you save, it's easier to figure out how much you're saving and then subtract that from the price. So we end up with around, if we round that up to about $20, we end up with about $330. We're going to take away $20. And it ends up being about $335. But we're close enough to kind of expect what you're going to pay. So those are two ways of doing it. It really depends on the situation and just practicing this. So if you go to the store and you see the price, just see if you can guess it, the better you'll get. You can kind of, as you go through it, you see what you did wrong, or even if you don't like really think about it, you can still kind of realize what you did wrong and try to make better guesses as you go through. So practice making your guesses. It's one of the best ways to improve. It's hard to just be like, okay, I'm going to be good at mental math. I'm going to be good at making estimations. It's just see what works and see what doesn't work. So give it a try. So that's all I wanted to show for today. So the secret word of the day is going to be, let's do PlayStation 2, because that's a video game console I'm playing right now, because I don't have anything more than a PS3, and I don't have any good games right now for that. So going back to my PS4 to play my old games that I played when I was like really young. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked now. Just a small lesson for today. I want you to try, this doesn't really have to do with mental math, but try the solving a money problem, chapter 5.6. So there's questions A and B. Give that one a try. That will be due next Thursday. So you have a bit of time to do it, but you might as well just get it done over the weekend. Yeah, hope you all have a good long weekend. Monday, there's going to be no new lesson because Monday's a holiday. So keep in mind, there won't be a lesson on Monday, but there will be a video call on Tuesday and a lesson on Wednesday. Have a good long weekend.